Are you someone who's been wanting to start freelancing, but you're just not sure where to start or even how to get your first client? A lot of people make starting a freelance business complicated, but it's really not. So in this video, I'm going to share with you my simple shopping method for getting your first freelance client. If you follow this method, you will get your first freelance client. All right, let's jump into it. Imagine you're going shopping for new clothes. You're trying to upgrade your wardrobe. What determines what you're going to walk home with in your shopping bag? There are 4 factors that determine what you will walk home with in your shopping bag. And the first one is the like factor. Now, recently I went shopping to upgrade my wardrobe. And I realized that the most important thing is whether I like something. No matter what else, if I don't like it, I'm not going to buy it. And how do I know whether I like something? Well, I need to see it. I need to know what's out there. In the same way, your clients, before they can even know you or like you, they need to see, they need to know that you're out there. They need to be able to see you in some way. Now, how can you do this? Well, kind of obvious. In person, you can meet people in person. You can also use any of the online methods that we have. You can use LinkedIn, you can use YouTube, you can use Instagram, Facebook, you can use a website or a blog or X or Threads. There's so many ways you can let people get to know who you are and get to see you, get to see what you do. Now, what should you be sharing, whether it's in person or on those platforms? If you're at the stage where you're just looking to attract potential clients, share something that's helpful. You can share something that you know already. You can share something that you're learning. You can also share things about you. When it comes to sharing about you, I like to think of the 5 F's. Things that let people get to know who you are. You can share about your faith, share about your family. You can share about your fitness. You can share about fashion. You can share about food. These are all relatable things that everyone has some level of interest in. For example, for myself on social media, for fitness, I like to play golf. So I show that I play golf. Also, I'm active in my church, play in the worship band. So I show that on social media. You can let people get to know you by sharing these things on social media, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, wherever it is that you think your potential clients are out there and are paying attention. If you're already in contact with potential clients, you can do the same thing. You can still be helpful, sharing what you know, sharing something you're learning, but you can also then share resources. Years ago, one of my clients, I had already done a little bit of work for them, but they had a huge problem. We had a big snowstorm, an early fall snowstorm in my city, and it knocked out power across the entire city. I happened to know somebody, a colleague, who owned a high availability data center. I was able to make one call to my colleague, and my client was then able to move their servers from where they were, that was completely out of power, to this high availability data center. They were back up and running within 24 hours. Now, my client was in a business where their clients, their customers relied on them 24/7. They needed to be up all the time. They were tied into the treasury, had a lot of transactions going back and forth all day long. So this was critical, and it ended up saving their business. That client for the next decade kept telling me how much they appreciated that phone call I made that literally saved their business. So think about that. What can you give? What can you offer to your clients or potential clients that is helpful to them? And sometimes it's just sharing a resource you have. And if these are clients you're already in contact with, you don't necessarily have to rely on posting something on social media or posting on LinkedIn. You can actually email them. You can message them, maybe through direct message, or even send them a text. All different ways that you can be helpful to clients or potential clients that you're trying to get to work with you. Now, if any of this makes you uncomfortable, posting on social media, posting on LinkedIn, it's okay. You're normal. It's not the most natural thing for most people to keep putting themselves out there. What they think, what they're learning. There are a lot of fears, a lot of limiting beliefs around that. So realize that you may need to do some internal work before you're able to actually post. But one of the ways to do that internal work is to just start posting. Remember that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is doing what's right in the face of fear. Now, if this is something that you need help with, or any other part of starting or growing your freelance business, click the link in the description to get in touch with me. If it makes sense, we can jump on a call and see if maybe there's a way that I can help you, or maybe we can work together. All right, let's get back to number 2. Factor number 2 is the style factor. So when I was at the mall and I was shopping for new clothes, one of the most important things for me was to make sure that what I bought was actually in style. Now, what is style? Style is just social proof. All that means is someone else has vetted this. Someone else thinks that it's good. Someone else likes it. More than one person actually likes it. And there are other people out there that are wearing it, that approve of it. That's all social proof is. In the same way, your potential clients need some kind of proof that either you are who you say you are, or you can do the work that you say you can do. And you literally don't need a lot of proof, you just need some proof. The strongest proof is a referral. But the key with referral is that it doesn't even have to be a former client. I worked with someone way back when I was in school in the tennis shop. We didn't do software development together. We didn't do anything tech related. We literally were both in school. We were working in the tennis shop. He graduated, I graduated. We kind of went our separate ways. I went into software. He went into systems. And over the years, he has sent me hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of client work because his company does systems and I do software. So they don't do what I do. But that wasn't based on work that I had done for his company. That was just based on the friendship that we had from working in the tennis shop together, from playing on the USTA tennis team together. That's all. So referrals don't always even have to be from a former client. So referrals are the strongest. Second strongest is testimonials. Testimonials typically would come from a former client. And the third strongest proof is work that you've done for another client. And if you haven't done your work for clients, you could offer to do a small project for free for a client just to get the testimonial. Sometimes those projects actually turn into paid work later on. Now, the third factor when it comes to what you're going to take home in your shopping bag on your shopping trip is the quality factor. When I was young, my mom used to teach me about what to look for when I'm shopping for clothes. We look at the materials, we look at the fabric, we would look at the stitching. She would help me to understand how each of those things affects how long that piece of clothing will last. And if it wasn't good quality, she wasn't going to buy it. In the same way, your clients have to have some way to judge the quality of your work. One of the best ways is to have a sample project. This could be a project that you've already done for a client, or again, if you don't have any past client work, this could just be a sample project. It doesn't have to be a real client project. All you need to do is post it somewhere and allow people to see it. Now, another way that clients will judge the quality of what you do, believe it or not, is based on what you say. Why is this? Because people buy what you say more than they buy what you sell. So you need to be able to start communicating what you do for clients in a way that they can understand, and in a way that makes them have confidence in you. The quality of your communication, the words you choose, is a huge factor in whether or not clients will choose to work with you. So practice communicating what you do in a way that matters to your client. And the fourth factor in determining what you're going to take home on your shopping trip is the price factor. You know, when I was out shopping recently, I saw pants that went anywhere from $20 up to $200 and more. I just came back from a marketing conference. And when I was there, I ran into the camera guy for one of the speakers. And this speaker tends to be very stylish, and he wanted his camera guy to also be stylish. So he was very striking in his outfit, and I asked him about his outfit. His pants alone cost $600. So why am I telling you all this? Well, recently I was talking with a freelancer, and I asked him what he charged. And he said he wasn't sure, but he was going to ask another freelancer to see what that person charged. And I asked him, why would you do that? Now, I think I know why he was going to do that. Because it's easy. You just ask someone else what they charge, and then you just charge that same rate. Maybe a little higher, maybe a little lower. The issue with that is that your price should be based on the outcome that you're able to achieve for your client. Think of it this way. Let's bring it back to shopping for clothes. If you're going on a date with a special someone, would you be willing to spend more on your clothes? Or another example, if you're trying to make an impression professionally, would you be willing to spend more on what you wear? Of course you would. Why? Because of what's at stake. If the outcome is important, your clients will be willing to pay. And getting back to the freelancer who just asked another freelancer what that person charged, you can be the person who sells the $20 pants, or you can be the person who sells the $600 pants. Who would you rather be? And if you're thinking to yourself, you could never charge a lot of money for a project, here's the important point. Price only becomes a problem when it's unexpected. So the important thing to do is you need to talk about price up front when you're first doing the discovery call with the client, when you're in the initial stages of your conversation with your client. First thing you should do is you should let them know what your budget for a project generally is. For example, you might say something like, my projects generally start in the mid 5 figures and go upwards from there. Is that something that works for you? When you have that conversation right out of the gate, if that's way out of the ballpark for what that client can afford, then you're saving them time, you're not wasting their time, and you're not wasting your own time. Also, make sure you ask about the client's business finances. Make sure you understand generally what their operating budget is. Make sure you understand the problem that you're trying to solve and what it is currently costing your client to not have that problem solved. Also, ask questions to try to find out if you solve that problem, what kind of financial upside is that client going to experience? And here's the big takeaway from all of this. Notice of the 4 factors, like style, remember social proof, quality, and price, the number 4 factor is price. And think about that. If you go shopping and you see something that you really, really like, even if it costs a lot of money, you probably are still gonna buy it. At least I know that happened to me when I recently went shopping. It's the same for your clients. If you present to them a solution to their problem and they really want that solution and it's going to help them to make even more money or save even more money, price is not going to become an issue. If you do a project for them that's gonna earn them an extra $100,000 or save them $100,000, you can easily charge $10,000 or $20,000 for that project because they're gonna make that transaction all day long. Put in $10,000, get $100,000 back. In the same way, if you are gonna help a company earn an extra $1 million or save $1 million, you can easily charge $100,000 or $200,000 for that project. Also notice that on that list, quality is near the bottom. Quality is second from last. Why? Because when it comes to sales, when it comes to selling something, when it comes to establishing rapport with the client and letting them get to know you and get to like you, the truth is different is better than better. You could be the best at what you do in the world, but if nobody knows about you, if you don't stand out, if you don't allow people to get to know you, they're never going to be able to work with you. But by showing yourself, by being different than your competition, by putting yourself out there, letting your clients get to know you on social media, posting on LinkedIn, maybe putting some videos on YouTube, making those connections with clients, you're gonna stand out from the rest of your competition, and you're gonna be able to win jobs for those high value clients. If you have questions about getting started or growing your freelance business, click the link in the description or leave a comment below and I will be in touch with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.